The Magic of Ig, Chapter 2. The Slip-Away Tree. The stick-man was surprisingly quick through the wood. Being only 6 inches tall, Ig expected his little legs to have to run to keep up with her. But no, on the contrary, Stickman didn't seem to walk. He appeared to take big leaps of several feet across the forest, hardly ever touching the ground. He literally flew over the forest floor, with Ig struggling to keep up. "Wait!" she shouted, as she was getting out of breath. "Wait? Can't wait. There's work to be done. Don't you go all Hermione on me." "It's Hermione, not Hermione. I keep telling you." "Well, Hermione suits you much better." "It does not." "Oh, wait!" "Too much time wasted waiting. We have to get to the slip-away tree before it closes for the day." "Closes? Trees don't close," she said, as the stickman was disappearing into the distance. "And for that matter, they don't open either!" she shouted after him. Stickman suddenly appeared right next to her. "Look, I can't help you if you keep that head of yours shut so tight to possibilities. Unless you open it up a bit, you won't learn a thing. So, the first secret of being a wizard is to forget everything you think you know." "Forget everything? Well, that's just stupid. What if I forget who I am?" "That would be an excellent start, because you can then be who you really are." Ig blinked. She didn't understand at all. So she tried again. "Or if I forget where I live and I can't get home?" "Then you start living and find home is everywhere," retorted Stickman. "Now, for goodness sake, let's move on. The tree's very close now." Ig shook her head. The stickman talked in riddles she didn't understand, and there he was, leaping ahead again. He was rude, impatient, and not very kind. But somehow, somewhere, something inside her felt absolutely compelled to follow him. The stickman, with Ig running behind, finally stopped at a big, broad sycamore tree. "This is it," said Stickman. "And we've just got here in the nick of time. Ta-da! Meet the slip-away tree." Ig looked at the tree. It had a huge, thick trunk, which ended up with lots of elephant-like feet sinking into the ground. It was high, with branches that swept down quite near to the floor for such a tall tree. It was a lovely specimen, but, well, it looked like lots of other trees that she had seen before, and Ig couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. "It's nice, but it looks quite ordinary," she said. "Ordinary? Ordinary?" exclaimed Stickman. "What sort of word is that? I tell you now, nothing, absolutely nothing is ordinary, unless you make it so." On the contrary, everything in this world is quite extraordinary, if you only looked at it properly." "But I am looking at it." "But you're not seeing it." "I am. I can see a tree." "Well, don't." "What? What do you mean, don't?" "You're seeing an image, You think tree, and your head fills all the rest of the picture in with what you think you know about trees. I need you to forget what you know. Call it something else. A gumblegosh, for instance. Ig couldn't help laughing. Okay. This is a gumblegosh. And she started to giggle. And I have never, ever seen one before. And as Ig looked at the newly named gumblegosh, she saw the elephant feet start to swell and stretch their toes. She looked at the leaves on the branches to see each branch had leaves from a different tree. There were oak leaves on one branch, ash on another, fir on a higher branch. It was amazing. She had never seen anything like this before. As she leaned in closer, she saw sparkling lights begin to appear on the leaves, and she gasped in awe as the fairy lights shone and danced their way along the branches. Wow! She leaned in even closer. When, suddenly, a weeping willow branch bent down in front of her and swept her right off her feet. "Ah!" she screamed. "Oh, there. Don't worry. I won't drop you," said the weeping willow branch. "But I must say, you are heavier than I thought for my slim little branches. Think I will have to pass you on to oak." A big thick branch swung round from the other side of the tree, grabbed Ig and took her right to the top of all the other branches and held her tight. "Are you ready now?" asked a voice, which seemed to be coming from the tree trunk. "I am closing soon, you know." Ready for what?" hesitated Ig. She daren't look down. I don't suppose this is a good time to say I'm scared of heights," she whispered. "No, far too late. Don't you go all Hermione on me," said the familiar voice of Stickman as he leapt onto a branch beside her. "Off we go!" Ig clutched onto her oak branch as suddenly the tree-gumblegosh started to sway from side to side. For 1 minute she thought the tree was actually going to start walking through the wood. But no, the swaying increased, getting faster and faster, until she felt like she was on a spinning roundabout that couldn't be stopped. And then suddenly the gumblegosh wasn't even there anymore, and she was just being catapulted through time and space into goodness knows where, and she was screaming and screaming, and then Stickman was next to her, trying to hold her hand with his little twiggy fingers. "Breathe," he said. "Calm down. Don't be frightened. Look, you're flying. You are actually flying." Ig looked down. And it was true. She and the Stickman were flying, and not just over Earth. No, they were out in the big wide universe. It was dark, and there were stars and moons and planets, and she was flying in amongst them all. "Wow, I am flying," she thought. "How cool is that?" "I'm flying!" she shouted out to Stickman beside her. He nodded his matchstick head and smiled. Ig laughed, and together they flew in between the stars that formed a plough, and then up to the stars that formed Orion, and Ig loved it. She was flying, really flying, and it was beautiful, so beautiful. The light sparkled and twinkled against the night sky, and the dark was a velvet blanket of deep navy blue enveloping them as it slept. Then, just as they were sweeping over the northern star, Ig looked down, and she had a terrifying thought. But I don't like heights. And as the thought gripped her, she began to fall. Falling through the atmosphere. Down and down she sank like a rock. So quick was the fall that she couldn't breathe, couldn't even scream until she finally landed with a big thud on the ground.
"This planet is taken," said a deep voice. "Get your breath back and then leave, or I'll have to push you off, and you won't want that, will you? Better to go now, and of your own accord, before things get difficult. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here at all."
Ig was dazed by her fall, and couldn't see who or what was talking. But she heard the message. She heard it loud and clear. Wherever she had landed, she wasn't welcome. She wasn't welcome at all.
The Magic of Ig continues on Jan's Strolls and Stories YouTube channel. If you don't see the next chapter yet, return in a few days when it will be released, or consider subscribing to her free channel for notification of new releases. If you would like to show support for Jan's storytelling, please consider using the support link provided in the video description to make a contribution. Jan loves to hear from her listeners, so if you would like to contact her, please leave a comment below and she will get back to you.